everyone, welcome back. Today we have a full face of Chanel. Chanel is still one of my favorite brands of all time. And today I decided to play with a bunch of makeup that I actually love, that I don't use on the channel very much because most of it you cannot buy in the United States. I call out specifically the United States because some of these products are available overseas and not available in the United States. And some of these products are just no longer available, period. There's one or two that I think you can still pick up, and if they are available anywhere, I will put them in the description box below. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing I have on my face is the Eclat Premier La Base. This is in Rose. You can get this overseas. I don't believe you can get this in the United States. It's a brightening and correcting makeup base with sunscreen. It's in the shade Rose. You might notice when you look at my face, it looks a little bit pinker than my neck. I don't think it's because of the primer. I don't think it's because of the Rosee. I think it's because of the Poudre Lumiere Aqua. This is a great foundation. I wore this all the time when I was traveling for work because it's a little plastic bottle and you can just stick it in your bag and you can carry it on a plane. The thing is, this is B12. And if you notice, the B12 is a little pink for my neck. It's actually a good match for my skin tone, but my skin on my face is a little bit pinker than my skin everywhere else. So I have started switching to B10, and I think in B10 would actually be a better shade for this. But if you're looking for a really good lightweight foundation that has a little bit of a sunscreen, it's an SPF 15. It's a very lightweight, it's actually like ultra lightweight, skin perfecting type of formula. I really like it and it's really easy to travel with. So I don't use it a lot on the channel because I've now switched to B10. In Chanel, B12 is just a little too pink for the rest of me. Then I have on my lips, so we'll talk about that real quick. This is a shade called Peachy Nude in the liner. I don't wear this one a lot for two reasons. One, I don't think it's available in the US, but I'm not sure. I'll put a link down below, but I don't think it is. And on me, it's very, very nude. Like it literally looks like the color of my skin. If, however, you are paler than me, or you're someone who's a lot deeper than me and you want a contrasting lip, this will work very well. It is definitely a very neutral, nude, whatever you want to call it, lip for me. And it gives that very nude look, which I don't wear often. I did used to wear it much more often in the days that I wear a lot of nude lip. Now I do more of a pinky brown kind of thing, and every once in a while more of a plum. And then the lipstick is a lipstick color that is discontinued. It's 195 Mise A Nu. Mise A Nu. Mise A Nu. I'm close. It's a very nude shade. And again, if you are lighter than me, paler than me, this will be a beautiful nude for you. And if you are a deeper skin tone, like medium to deep, I think this would be like a contrasting color. For me, it will go very much the color of my lips and it's sort of like this nude lip look. On top of that, I have gloss, and this is the gloss in 712. I believe this color is available. It's a very golden gloss. Those are the three colors that are on my lip, creating a very nude lip. The reason I did that today was because of the eyes, and I'll get to that, but I wanted something that would be as neutral as possible on my lips to just accentuate the eyes and keep the focus there. I am not somebody who does a deeper eye and a deeper lip. I do one or the other. If I have a red lip, I have a very simple eye. If I have a more in-depth, heavier look on my eyes, I do a lighter look on my lips. So on the face, I have numerous products on the face. So the first thing I'll mention is the highlighter. It's really a powder. It's the Poudre Lumiere Glace. This is a silver reflections shimmering powder. This is what it looks like. It's very, very soft. I don't think this one's available in the US. It's available overseas. It's a very, very soft powder that has a little bit of reflection in it, a lid of pearlescence, which I put here and a little here. That was it. I didn't use a lot of it. I really like this powder for that. I like it because it's a very soft powder, but it has a little bit of, and it's not glitter, it's just this silver reflection that I really like. So I use just the tiniest amount. And then as bronzer, I used a powder, which again, I think is discontinued. This is the Le Beige's Healthy Glow Illuminating Powder in Sunset. The illuminating powder Healthy Glow does exist, but I don't think Sunset exists. This is what I used as bronzer for Chanel before the oversized bronzers came out. So I used that as my bronzer today, which I think is great. It's actually a great shade for me. Used the Palette Essential in the Conceal, Highlight, and Color in 170 Beige Intense, which is a little too deep for me, but, and this is the palette. I used this shade as my concealer, and I used this as a pop right here on my cheeks. And you'll see me putting it on. The concealer in here works really well as a contour shade for me. Because again, this is beige and intense. It's a little too deep for me, but to use it just like right here to sculpt and right here to sculpt, it works extremely well for me, for my skin tone. And then the blush is Elegance. This is Elegance Blush, which has that rose smell. This is the older formula, and this is a beautiful shade of blush. I just love the smell. I know not everybody loves the smell, but I love the smell. This is very much a shimmery, I don't know if I want to use shimmer, but very luminescent shimmer blush. It's a gorgeous peachy shade. I love this shade. It's like one of my favorites. That leaves the powder that I have on my face, which is the Natural Finish Loose Powder. Now, I did not use this as a setting powder today. What I mean by that is I literally dusted this all over my face very, very lightly. I tried to keep it as superficial as possible. I didn't set my makeup with it. I didn't really use it as a brightener here. I just wanted a little teeny bit of powder to tone down all the different shades that I had put on my face. So I used that as the last step to kind of merge everything together. I still love the Chanel powder, the original formula. I think it's fantastic, and you know, if you can get your hands on that one, I would do that. The mascara is Chanel. This is the Volume Mascara. Still one of my favorite mascaras, actually. It's a really good mascara. It's just the formulas that have come out since then, like Sweet Beauty, are just so perfect that, and Chantecaille has great, I mean, there's a lot of good ones, Jones Road. So I would still put it in my top 10. It's just the others have eclipsed it. And then Legendary Green Waterproof Liner, which again was a limited edition. This is the shade. It's legendary. It's literally legendary. It's a wonderful shade if you can find it. Before I get to the eyeshadow, which is what I really want to concentrate on today, I want to say the reason that I like these different products. The primer that I talked about, I like it because it's very similar to the limited edition primers that were introduced in the United States, and again, were limited edition, they were gone. Very lightweight, has a very beautiful pinkish iridescence to it, but doesn't make your skin look like, you know, a hologram or something. It just is really brightening and looks beautiful. The Poudre Lumiere is an ultra lightweight foundation that I think gives you a nice finish without being too much. The lip products that I talked about, I love the Chanel liners after they fix them. The lipsticks the same, and the same as the Glossomers. Those three products together were my go-to in the day. I still would say that the Tom Ford liners are my favorites, but the Chanel and Dior's I think are really, really good. I think there's a lot of great shades out there. Chanel lipsticks are some of the best. They're great. It's just that, again, there have been so many that have competed with the formula over the years that I don't necessarily always drag out my new Chanel lipsticks, but they're really good. And the glosses are excellent. I get them every year in the holiday bags. I always get the gloss set because I'm never going to be caught without some type of Chanel gloss. The Chanel powders, the Sunset, the bronzer that I'm using, or I'm using it for bronzer, the loose powder, the Elegance Blush, all of those things, the highlighter that, you know, is, I think, again, not in the United States. The powders that Chanel does, when they do them right, are just outstanding. And the minuscule difference between them and like another brand, people will ask, well, you know, what really is the difference? Why is it so much better? And it's hard to explain unless you see it in the way that when you do someone's makeup. The difference is small. I won't say that it's just massively better, but it's like the difference between if you've ever taken pictures and changed the difference between your eyes or the length of your nose or the size of your lips by millimeters. I'm talking the slightest amount, but it can change completely the way you look. That's the difference. It's small, but it speaks wonders when you actually use it. And the blushes and the way they blend into the skin and the way they don't accentuate texture, this is the old formula, and the way they enhance the color without overpowering, that's just that little bit much better than practically anything. And the Sunset powder, which I'm using as bronzer, is the same type of thing. And so is the silver reflecting powder. Again, it has little granules almost of like a little bit of sparkle, but the way that Chanel does it, it doesn't look like you have glitter on your face. Even the creams that are in the Palette Essential that I used as my contour just blended in perfectly, sunk in the skin, didn't have to rub it in, didn't have to, you know, it just works. Mascara is, for its time, was one of the best volumizing mascaras that existed. I think you can see I don't have liner on my lower lashes. I just have liner on my upper lashes, and I didn't use a lot of liner today, guys. You'll see me putting it on. I used very little, and I kept it on the outsides of the eyes. The mascara is what's making this look dramatic. This is one of my favorite collections that Chanel did. And I actually do have video of I think there's 4 of these eyeshadows. In fact, I should put them up so you guys can see them. There's Blurry Mauve, Blurry Green, Blurry Blue, and Blurry Gray, I believe. And I have them all. This is Blurry Green. The thing that's interesting about Blurry Green, and I think actually the entire Blurry series, is they were meant to be a very smoky eye, and there's no light shade in this palette. Now you're gonna look at this and you're gonna be like, that's not true, Jen, there's 2 light shades. See this palette? It's beautiful. I love the greens, but there really isn't. Let me swatch it for you, quote, live, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's the, quote, lightest shade. This is when Chanel, like, honestly, everything that they did was like super pigmented. All the blurries are very, very pigmented, which, you know, is great, but when you're trying to use this in a light manner, which is what I've been asked to do today, it is very hard to do with this line, with the blurry line, because it's intense and it was meant as a smoky look. You can see none of these shades are actually light. All of these shades have a weight, a depth, and a pigment to them. So the way you have to use this to get a look like I have on my eyes now, which is not super light, but I will say it's much lighter than the smoky look that it was originally intended for, is to do what I did and take this very slowly. So the first thing that you do, take the greenish shade, which is this one. It's on the bottom. So if you look at it like this, it's the bottom green. It is the most green of, like, true green in the palette. And you pounce it on the outside of the eye and just keep it there. Do not use a lot of it. I promise you it will go a long way. And you'll see me doing this. So you're gonna pounce it on the outside of the eye, almost like you're creating a line, like a V on the outside of your eye. And then you're just gonna pounce it in and then start rubbing it into, or sweeping it into, the crease. Then you're gonna do the same thing with the deeper, more olivey green that's on the top. you're gonna go right next to that, a little closer in on your eyelid, and do the exact same thing. And then you're just gonna go back and forth and sort of blow that out. What you will find is that it will look like it's too much. It's too much on the outside of your eye and into your brow area. So what you do is you make it look like you're seeing it on, you know, my eye right now, so it looks a little bit too blown out. You go back in with your brushes and you clean up. You clean up the outside of your eye like this, clean it up here, and then take your fingers or a Q-tip or brush, whatever you want, and start taking it off the upper part of your brow so that you are actually removing a little bit of makeup. And trust me, makeup artists do that all the time. When you are dealing with very heavy pigments or something that has a very deep shade, you either use guards of some kind or you remove. I promise you. Nobody is able to sort of blow out a look and get it exactly where they want to without either edging or removal afterwards, which is why makeup artists will say, do your eyes first. Because if you do your eyes first, then you can just clean up under your eyes and outside your eyes without worrying about messing with the rest of your makeup because you don't have any other makeup on. So then you take this shade here, which is, I would call it the olivey, it's green, but it's like this, it's the color of the year, that almost tannish green. And then you put that on the lid into the inner corner of the eye. Then you take this shade, the goldish shade, with your finger and pop it on the entire look. And what that will do, and I'll do it again, it will actually make the rest of it kind of blend together and you get more of a golden. Now, if this is even too much for you and you're like, I want something even lighter, what I would say is I would not suggest, well, first of all, I would not suggest using the Blurry because the Blurry is incredibly pigmented and deep. But if you love the shades, which I do, and you want like a super light look, so light in fact that you just want it to be like a wash of color, this is what you need. You need a brush like this. Now this is a Surratt brush that I, again, don't believe exists anymore, but it's a swirl brush and it looks like a calligraphy pen and it's super soft, okay? This is something that's gonna give you the wisp of a look. And when you put the shades on your eye, so you'll take like this shade on the top, which is this olive green, you literally just press the brush into the color. You press it. And then when you go to put it on your eye, you do this. You will see, as I'm doing it, and I'm going slowly so you can all see, and I'll make sure it zooms in, that you get the color eventually. You see that? That's what you're gonna wanna do. If you want this look, but almost like a wash, you're gonna need something like this to do it. If you use any denser than this particular palette and all of the Blurries will deposit shade pigment onto your eyes because it's that pigmented, it's that soft. That's what it's meant to do. So I'm gonna take the gold shade on the top, do the exact same thing, just sort of press it in, and then watch. You just go like this. I'm using medium pressure. And that's what you're gonna get. That is how you're gonna wanna use this quad if you want this ethereal wash. Now, if I can find this brush for you, I will list it. I don't think they make them anymore, but they do make brushes like this. There's two things you wanna stay away from. You don't want a brush that is harsh. You don't want a brush that is dense. You don't want a brush that is going to deposit color. You want something that is made literally to deposit as little color as possible, but still give you a beautiful finish. The reason this type of brush and the Surratt brushes in general were so excellent is that they gave you this beautiful wash of color like this so that you could have, you know, a beautiful watery blend, but they also deposited it smoothly. We'll find that there are synthetic brushes that sometimes will give you this type of look. They're incredibly soft and they won't deposit as much, but frankly, the way that the bristles work, they don't deposit it evenly. It has a lot to do with, frankly, just the softness of the hair. Now, if you're looking for a synthetic and you want as much of this type of look as possible, I would say the BK Beauty, the Rose and Ben, and the Hourglass are your best bets. But there's, I mean, it's still, I want to be honest, it will be harder to get this kind of look with those types of brushes. Because you guys always ask me about the brushes and I always forgot to tell you. So that is the difference. This look, what I did on my eyes today, I don't think this is, I wouldn't call this a smoky look. I would call this an elegant, simple look. If I wanted to make this smoky, I could do it very easily. So I could take a little brush like this. I could take any of these shades. This palette is so intense. I'm gonna take the olive green shade and I could literally start to build out corners of my eye. That's how I would start to make it more. Do you see the difference between these two already? You can easily build these up to be what they were originally intended for, which is this smoky, kind of over the top, dynasty-esque look. I did not do that today because I have been asked by many of you how to use this palette in a more subtle, everyday kind of look. And the way I had it at the, I'm not using the gold shade, the way that I had it at the beginning, I think is that. But like I said, if you want even less than that, you can do it by getting this. So if you want to continue to build this up, I'm going to take that gold shade and pop it into the corner here. It's going to make it even more intense. And then what you would do is take that very green shade and then start putting that around the eye, along the lashes. And then I'm gonna take the shade of the season, that like tannish, and then take a fluffy brush, but not too fluffy, to blow it out here. Nothing on the brush, but bring it up a little. Okay, now you have a smoky eye. Now this is a smoky eye. But that took, you know, moments to do. It didn't take me long at all. So this quad and this line, the blurry line, can go from what I had on before to this in moments. And then to get this, you have to be very, very deliberate. So if you have any questions about how to do that, let me know. I'd be happy to help. And hopefully this was helpful. I still love the blurry line. It's one of my favorites that Chanel has ever done. I feel like the look that I did when I first came on, that is like one of my favorite looks to do because I think it's an elegant everyday look. I would wear that. This I would not do on an everyday look. This is a very, I'm going clubbing. I'm going clubbing, like I club now. You know, it's an evening, for me, it's an evening look. And I would do a couple of other things if I was going to do this. I would set my under eyes because there's going to be fallout for stuff like this. I might even do false lashes, and you know, I'd have an outfit that would go with jewelry that would go with it, the whole thing. So again, it's not something I would do every day, but I feel like the blurries can work as an everyday with the look that I had before. And then if you want something ultra, what I call watercolory, you can use the brushes that I suggested. If I can find brushes that are similar to that Surratt brush, or even that Surratt brush, I'll make sure it's down below. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon.